Good morning, Wabash.
Good morning,
Ronnie's bringing the bell. Woo! Welcome to our annual Monon Bell Chapel. Today we will be hearing from our 5 senior football captains, CJ Gum, Cody Lamont, DJ Singfield, Wes Chambly, and Nick Ramsey. Following the captains, we will hear from Coach Eric Rayburn. Without further ado, our first captain, Wes Chambly. Woo!
Good morning. 3 years and 2 months ago, on the eve of the first game of the season against Franklin College, DJ Singfield and I were walking out there on that track, picturing what the next 4 years would be like at Wabash. Now keep in mind, we had just survived Camp Creighton. DJ was pumped up. He would not stop telling me how much he loved Wabash and kept reciting his Coach Creighton impressions. I was watching DJ, shaking my head, thinking to myself, man, I hate this place already. I couldn't possibly believe how much he loved it here. However, we both envisioned how sweet senior year would be, having the bell game at home, being senior captains, giving the chapel talk speeches, and battling side by side in front of a national audience. We thought about it, man, how perfect would that culmination be? Unfortunately, this past season didn't work out exactly how we planned it. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Shortly after my injury, I received a text message from Cody Lamont. He reminded me that worse things could have happened. So I thought about it. I came to the conclusion that I'm still alive, I have a loving family, and I go to the best college in the nation. Therefore, this unfortunate occurrence is really a blessing in disguise. Instead of traveling to Ohio Wesleyan on the weekend of September 18th, I took the opportunity to go home and visit my grandfather who had been sick in the hospital. My father and I went to see him on the evenings of Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday afternoon, before I made the 3-hour trek back to Crawfordsville, I went to see my grandfather one last time. I made sure he was the last person I saw before I left South Bend. He passed away that Thursday. The last thing I told him was, I love you. I would have never had the opportunity if I were not blessed with this injury, and for that, I'm truly thankful. Another way in which I, as well as everyone associated with Wabash College, have been blessed is with hardship. We all know the saying, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. I don't care how cliche it sounds, it's true. In fact, I'll go so far as to say, show me someone who doesn't believe in the benefit of challenge, and I'll show you someone who was fed with a silver spoon, never working for a damn thing their whole life. I firmly believe that adversity builds strength. Therefore, I will be stronger when I overcome this challenge. You know why I know? Because of the example that this football team has demonstrated this entire season. Everyone in this chapel knows overcoming adversity is not easy. I would be lying if I told you I enjoy going to rehab every day to work on my knee. But that's the whole point. If it were easy, everyone would be fit to be a Wabash man. We know that's not the case. Martin Luther King Jr. said the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. We know where this team stands after the adversity this season. On many occasions, youngsters stepped up and became men. Veterans led with passionate direction, and instead of giving up, the coaching staff just demanded more out of the team. I can honestly say that this team is better from the trials that had to be overcome. When presented with hurdles, they took them in stride, and I'm proud to say that I'm a captain of this football team. Saturday will be a battle of struggle, challenge, and plenty of adversity, but that's okay. We welcome it all. I'm not one to make predictions, but I guarantee that this football team is the last team that the Dannies want to face on Saturday. With that being said, I'll conclude with this thought. There is only one thing that can fulfill that dream that DJ and I envisioned 3 years ago. Beat DePaul. Thank you.
Thinking back to my freshman year, I can remember those senior captains standing here. I never imagined it at the time that someday I'd be up here trying to spit you a rhyme. Keep in mind, I'm not a rhetoric major like Wes, so don't expect this to be the best. But seriously, I was sitting around last night with Cody and Jake. We were talking about this game and what's at stake. For DePaul, they fight to keep their perfect season, but us, we'll fight for a different reason. For the seniors, 4 more quarters is all we got, and to accept defeat, I think not. So side by side, this team will fight so that all of you can drink from the bell on Saturday night. Because this game is about more than just a team, it's about the Wabash way of life and what it means. It's about the students, the community, and the fans, and everyone else cheering for us from the stands. For the freshmen, you don't know what it's like to not hear that bell ringing throughout the night. But I remember what it was like when we didn't win, and it's a feeling I refuse to have again. So on Saturday, a Wabash victory will be demanded, and DePaul will have a quiet ride home, empty-handed. They will walk off our field with their heads down as their fans follow. Will everyone here chants, DePaul Swallows?
I bet none of you guys knew our stud middle linebacker was an aspiring rapper. I remember just 3 short years ago, I was sitting exactly where you guys were sitting, on the edge of my seat listening to A.D. Pinnenberg give his chapel talk. In the back of my mind, I wondered, if I got the chance, what I would say when I got up there. Just 3 short years later, sitting in my computer science class this morning, not much had changed. I still wondered what the heck I was going to say when I got up here. But before I talk about the game on Saturday, I want to give a few thank yous. First, I'd like to thank God, because without him, I wouldn't be standing here today. I'd also like to thank my parents. They've supported me through so much, and this hasn't been an easy semester for my family, but my parents are awesome. Finally, I'd like to thank Coach Gilbert. He recruited me and introduced me to this wonderful school, and the school's changed my life, as I'm sure it's changed all yours. A lot of people have asked me over the years what my favorite thing about playing football is. And typically I'll respond with, a typical cookie cutter answer like, scoring touchdowns or winning the big game. But to be honest with you, my favorite thing about this game is that it shows you exactly what kind of man you are. Games like the game we're going to play on Saturday, expose people for who they are. Every team has players that make it happen and players that let it happen. The game Saturday against DePaul, it's going to be decided by big-time players making big-time plays at crucial moments. Having said that, I challenge every player on our team. I won't be able to play on Saturday, but I challenge every player to go out and make it happen. When your chance comes, and your chance will come, I hope you'll be ready to make the play that's going to change the game. And I know I don't need to say this, but I challenge every fan on this campus to just create an amazing atmosphere on Saturday. And I know I don't need to say that because you guys are awesome. But having said all that, there isn't a doubt in my mind that Saturday night we're going to be ringing our bell all night long. Wabash always fights.
How about that right in? Wow. On November 21st of last year, Illinois Wesleyan defeated Wabash College 41-35 in double overtime and ended the 2009 season for the Little Giants. While this day marked the end for so many talented seniors like Matt Hudson, Skip Tokar, Matt Wide, and Brian Watson, it was the beginning of my senior year and the beginning of the 2010 football season. For the rest of us, we had another opportunity, another year to get better, improve as a team, and to reach our ultimate goal, the national championship. I stand here today with only one game left in my college career, and it hurts the more I think about it. But luckily for us seniors and the rest of the team, we can leave on a high note. We can go out on Saturday, whoop DePaul, and keep the bell right where it rightfully belongs, here at Wabash. I mentioned the 2010 season started a little less than a year ago, and since this time, the football team is preparing ultimately for our game on Saturday. In January, 2 months after the 2009 season, the football team began 6 a.m. workouts, 6 days a week for an entire 2 months. We then continue our off-season workouts with spring ball, which begin at 5:30 a.m. and last until we depart for the summer. During these workouts, seniors like DJ Singfield would yell, "Ding! Ding!" to remind the team how important the off-season is and the effort we must put in to be a successful team. DJ and many other players still ding ding to this day, as we know we only have one more game to fight for our team and only one game to fight for the entire Wabash community. Even though the bell is still on our side, we still remind ourselves how hard we must work to keep it here. Even though you got a 3.0 GPA your freshman year, you still demand excellence and strive to one day be on the dean's list. This is what makes Wabash special. We are not like DePaul. We hold each other accountable. We demand excellence. We strive for greatness. We pursue the impossible. We do not try. We challenge ourselves and others to impact the world, and most of all, we always fight. Sure, this hasn't been the most successful year at Wabash concerning our football team or Wabash as a whole, but we press onward and we make the best of our opportunities given to us. We fight adversity like it's our job, because it is. Wabash isn't easy. That's why there are only 900 of us here. If it were easy, everyone would be a Wally, but luckily they're not. That's why there are schools like DePaul, for students who wish to be spoon-fed and are scared to take the path less traveled. However, we shouldn't take this rivalry for granted. No other Division II or Division III school has a rivalry like the one we have with DePaul, and no other team is defined through a rivalry like the Monon Bell game. This is why we must cherish the moment and take it at full head of steam in order to determine who we really are. Our theme this week is, who are we? For most of the season, we failed to ask ourselves this question, and it showed versus teams like Wash U and Wittenberg. We are Wabash. We are blue-collared men striving for excellence, not only in ourselves, but in others as well. That being said, I challenge each and every one of you to bring everything you have on Saturday. Hold nothing back. Take nothing for granted. Never give up and fight till the end. If we do this, the Wabash community will prevail, and the bell will ring for another year rather than sit in a Paul closet for 365 days. I would like to leave you with this last bit. Before every game, the seniors huddle around the team and lead a chant before running onto the field. Some of you may know what I'm talking about if you've been in the stands prior to a game. I feel like this chant has been kept from most of the Wabash community. I believe this chant not only defines our team and the hardships we face, but it also defines the entire Wabash community. It goes like this. If you all would please repeat after me. We have come together today as one big family to share a common goal, to fight for victory. Obstacles have been numerous leading up to this day. Perseverance and one heartbeat combined will show us the way. So I ask you, little giants, teammates and best friends, fight side by side on Saturday so that we may determine the end. If we don't win in the end, we know we didn't do right, because we will never give up. Because we will never give up! Because Wabash always fights! Let's get that bell here, boys.
Some of the toughest times in life are when we fail, when we don't meet our goals, when we disappoint ourselves, disappoint those that are close to us, when life hits us in the face and we're forced to make a decision of how we're going to respond. Each time this happens to us, we have to make a choice. Life's about choices. Life at Wabash is a perfect example of this. Most of us chose to say yes to Wabash and no to the other schools that our friends wanted us to go to with them. We chose small-town Crawfordsville, with its attractions being Walmart and B-dubs. We chose a place that constantly challenges us mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We chose going through pain and hard work to become something and someone better than we could ever imagine. We chose a place that's left many of us questioning, why are we here? Because sometimes we feel like this place breaks us down to where we can't get up. We chose a place where we can live by our motto, Wabash always fights, and always means always. These choices aren't easy. We have to face these choices and obstacles every day here at Wabash. When we hear, who are we can scream at the top of our lungs, we are Wabash, because we know that this place isn't for everyone. This 2010 Wabash College football team season has been a blast. It's flew by for our seniors and for our team, but we've loved every moment of it, the good times and the bad. It's had its ups and its downs. It's been filled with adversity and tough times. But if we could go back, we wouldn't change it at all. Because in the low points in life, in the challenging times, when things aren't going our way, we're forced to face another decision we have to make, another choice. At our lowest points, do we fight or do we tap out? Do we press on or do we make excuses and quit? Do we find a way or do we fold under the pressure? Many of you know the Bell Week at Wabash to be filled with grilling out and growing out nasty and dirty mustaches, getting Monon mohawks. But most importantly, a lot of us have experienced this Bell Week as the bell ringing all day long and all night for the entire week. Unfortunately, this hasn't always been the case. November 10th, 2007, DePaul University, Greencastle, Indiana, Monon Bell, game outcome, DePaul 24, Wabash 21. They took our bell. We took their fans jumping up and down, spitting all over the place, saying, Wabash sucks. Maybe next year, we're ringing the bell in Greencastle. We left. We had to face that every day we walked in the Allen Center. We worked out at 6 a.m. as a football program. Every day we were faced with the challenge that we didn't step up we didn't win. November 15th, 2008, Wabash College, Crawfordsville, Indiana, Monon Bell game, outcome, DePaul 36, Wabash 14. They took our bell, we took their fans and their players jumping and spitting on our W at our field, in our house. We took their players yelling that the bell will ring in Greencastle. We dealt with this for an entire year. Our head coach, Eric Rayburn, dealt with this for an entire year. His first bell game didn't sit well. November 14th, 2009, DePaul University, Greencastle, Indiana. Monon Bell, the outcome, Wabash 32, DePaul 19. We took our bell, they took a beat down. As we think about this Saturday, for the seniors, for the team, we know this is it. This is all we have. It's tough to look it in the face and say, after this Saturday, there is no more. But you know what gets me excited about Wabash? When there's a challenge at stake, we step up, we always fight. This Saturday, November 13th, Wabash College, Crawfordsville, Indiana, Monon Bell game. The outcome, we're keeping the bell. Wabash always fights, ding, ding.
Could Coach House and his wife Judy stand up, please? Coach House is retiring after 25 years as an assistant football coach at Wabash, and can't begin to think how many meals his wife has cooked for coaches and players, and couldn't even make a guess at how many hours he spent recruiting and coaching to help build the great tradition here at Wabash. I know he's excited to get to spend more time with his family, particularly his grandchildren. I know his grandson, he's never got to see him play a football game. I know he's looking forward to that next fall. But I also know he's going to miss spending time with all of our players. And all the coaches and players wanted me to let him know that we're going to miss spending time with him too. And we appreciate all the hard work you've done. I thought, I've heard all kinds of rumors that Disney's making a movie about Matt Hudson's life titled I Will Not Fail You. Before we start talking about this year's game, I thought I should clear the air about what really happened last year on 4th and 1. He did not talk me into going for it on 4th and 1. I already decided that. But we all know how persuasive Redrick Majors at Wabash can be. So he actually did something much more difficult than convincing me to go for it on 4th and 1. He convinced me to run a play that I vowed I would never run, and so consequently, he convinced me to run a play that we have never, ever practiced. Any team that I've been associated with since I was a sophomore in college. Thank God that he did, because it worked, and I'm not sure the one I was going to call would, but he did the quote, I will not fail you, that really did happen. You just can't make that kind of stuff up. But
I think it's the perfect example of how important this game is. Matt, it was an unbelievable player, 3-year starter at quarterback. I can't really think of any bad games that he played. Had unbelievable career, but I know heading into that last Bell game how important it was that he won that game, and if we would have lost that game, he would have looked at his career differently. You know, he would have considered it a failure. When anyone that knows anything about football knows how great he played over his career, but because he's a Wabash man, he knows that you get measured only by one football game every year, and so he did everything he could, including convincing me to run a play that we've never run before to win that game, and you know, that's what I love about the rivalry. I get asked that question all the time, to compare this rivalry with all the other ones, and I mean, it's not even close. I think all the schools I've been at, there's always been a rival, and to the coaches and players, it's always important. What makes our rivalry game the greatest is that it's important to everybody. I love hearing that bell ring all day and all night. I know not everybody does, but I do. Not because of the sound that it makes, because that we have guys that are willing to sit out there all day and all night and ring it, because that shows you how important this game is, not just to the coaches and not just to the players on the team, but to everybody at the school. And that's what makes this the best rivalry in football. Better than any other school gets to be a part of, because it's important to everybody here, not just the guys on the team. I told our guys heading into this week, at the beginning of the week, you know, they were going to have to hear all week about how this is the greatest team ever, you know, from DePaul, and I mean, it very well could be. I watched the films; they're excellent. I also told them by the end of the week they'd get sick of hearing it, and I'm sure it's starting to wear on them. But I guess what I didn't anticipate is the thing I've been most sick of hearing is how disappointing of a season that we've had. When I've gotten interviewed all week, whether it's radio, TV, newspaper, they always start the conversation about their team with, you know, it's the greatest team ever in history of DePaul. But when they talk about our guys, it always starts with something like, I know you're having a disappointing season, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that has been the most irritating thing to me all week. I'm not disappointed in the season we've had. None of the coaches are. I feel terrible, as do our whole team, for all the guys that were injured, particularly the seniors, because how hard they work, you know, the commitment that they make to our football program, and to all you guys to do everything they can to help bring the bell back, and then to have an injury cut their senior season short, the year that's supposed to be your greatest ever. I'm disappointed about that, but and I feel terrible for those guys. But and that's the only thing I really don't like about football. But I'm not disappointed in the type of season we had. Our guys had shown great perseverance, great toughness, work ethic, never wavered, despite our season not being perfect. None of the coaches feel any sense of disappointment because of how hard our guys have worked. And I know they're the greatest team ever, and we've had a disappointing season, but we won't be disappointed Saturday. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach, and our senior captains. Some quick announcements. Forms for the student body elections are now in the dean's office. After chapel today, Cody Stipes and some others will be passing out the bell, T-shirts, and towels for the game. Please take only one for the students. Friday, wrestling has the red and white duels. Rugby has the K game at DePaul at 5:30, I believe. And then volleyball will play at DePaul sometime after the keg game. Saturday, the cross-country team will compete to qualify for the Nationals. The 117th Monon Bell game will be played here at Wabash. You didn't know? Yeah. The gates open at 11:30. There will be a marked student section. If you are facing our home concrete bleachers, it will be the far left. It will be marked by large signs. We're encouraging all students to try to get into the game as close to 11:30 as possible so we can fill up as much of that before older people do. Yeah, thanks. Please stand and sing "Old Wabash."